Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Commissar here, and today I have a 1 vs 1 Starcraft 2 commentary for you all, featuring Liquid Sheth as our red Zerg player, spawning in the bottom left hand side of the map today, and over in the top right hand side of the map we have none other than EG IdrA. So Sheth, of course, being famous for his well-mannered play from Team Liquid, already starting off by thanking IdrA for giving out a GLHF, and IdrA, of course, I don't know about his attitude. It confuses me. Sometimes he seems to say that he's been better lately, hence he got third at WCS not long ago. But at the same time, you see him in latter games just basically bowing out before he loses. You see him rage quitting. You still see stuff that you shouldn't see. At the same time, he says his attitude is getting better. So I'm kind of confused by IdrA at the moment. He's playing a little bit better than he has been. Than he had been before the last couple of months, I suppose. But he's still not at the top of his form, still not winning anything by any means. Anyway, so his opponent Sheth is perhaps the more popular player today, and yeah, Liquid Sheth, of course, in terms of recent form, has no tournament results, but he did have a decent run at the last MLG, so he is in good form. He did defeat Huangxin, Rain and Grubby at MLG recently, whilst losing 1-2, so getting games off Puma, Lysira and Lenok. So really, he did do quite well at MLG. So Sheth is, if anything, probably the favourite to win this game, I'd say. Anyway, so we are going to see both players take their 15 hatches at almost the exact same time, with neither player trying to block those expands or anything. Both players basically starting off well-mannered, placing standardly. And they are actually helping each other out here. You can see in the chat here, IdrA actually giving some advice, I think, to Sheth. So yeah, these two players obviously get along well, and it is good to see this sort of well-mannered, positive sort of start to a game. Okay, so we do indeed see Sheth going for an extractor of his first base. You'll notice that IdrA recently also doing the same thing. I think it was ZvZ that I cast recently, where IdrA actually went to about 40 supply before gassing, but I might be wrong, because now that I think about it, generally you want to get that gas in ZvZ, just in case, more than anything. Just in case you have to get some banelings out, or if you have to get some roaches out maybe, if you keep more than 1 or 2 guys on gas. It's really a defensive play more than anything, because a ton of builds don't actually rely upon early gas in this matchup. Okay, so anyway, we are going to see both players getting ready to saturate their expansions, but more importantly, is probably the chat. That's kind of cool. But we are going to see the scouting going on by both players. They do indeed see each other. They do indeed know what's going on. They know that nothing funny is going on. Both players almost having the exact same, like, it's a mirror matchup, and they're basically mirroring each other, even down to their overlord positioning. And that's pretty cool. We do indeed see IdrA getting ready to take the Overlord spots. Classic Overlord spots in this map are up around here, up over here. You can do it back here, it's a little bit less useful, and in this gap over here. So yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. Okay, so IdrA getting out 2 lings. You can see no more than 2 lings. Neither player really attempting to apply any sort of super early pressure here. And you can see, yeah, both players are happy to get out their queens. An Evo chamber coming up from Sheth. So apparently going to try and get out an upgrade advantage with this early gas. And yeah, he is going to go straight for that armor upgrade, which is of course great for both the ranged and the melee units, unlike obviously the melee or range upgrades. So it is going to be basically say that it's going to help him with lings and then roaches. Basically, it's a long-term investment, but also should help him in the relatively short term. So that's kind of cool that he can do that without having to invest too heavily into the mining of gas, as IdrA is going to be behind in upgrades, but he also got that early gas, which is kind of cool for Sheth. The big thing, of course, being the ling speed, which I believe Sheth hasn't gotten yet, and I'm not sure, but I feel like Sheth might not have made a single... might not actually have any... yeah, he doesn't have any lings in the field now, and is now making 4 lings, which I think might be his first war of the game. Anyway though, it's not a big deal, as of course he did have the overlords to scout that no units are coming out. No unit can get out of the base of IdrA without a Nidusworm or an overlord to drop from, and it's too early in the game for that, without being seen by an overlord. So of course, Sheth perfectly safe in doing what he was doing. Especially after seeing that about a few minutes ago there was nothing in the base of IdrA in terms of any sort of fast roach warrens or tons of lings or anything, just drones. So yeah, It looks to be a well-mannered game where both players will practice their more long-term plays, which is kind of cool, because ZvZ, whilst often having very fun-to-watch early games, very volatile early games, it is kind of cool to see in the longer games too, and they are a little bit more rare. This enormous blue dot, by the way, is just a grid of IdrA's building. It's kind of cool to look at on the minimap, but more importantly is the lair from IdrA. IdrA going to be 20 seconds away from lair tech, whereas Sheth going to be about a minute away. So that is going to be a significantly earlier timing for IdrA. IdrA also getting that ranged attack upgrade rather than the armor, which is going to be behind Sheth, but it is also a different upgrade, which is also an important difference to note. So it looks like IdrA, yeah, obviously going to be going for some sort of Roach-based build, possibly into Roach Hydra, but that tends to not happen anymore. Roach Hydra Infestor, well, yeah, Roach Hydra Infestor does happen, but it's primarily Roach Infestor. And I'd expect that from IdrA at this stage in the game. Okay, meanwhile, in the side of Sheth, we are going to see a couple of lings of IdrA's get in and see everything. They see the lair timing, they see the gases, they see absolutely everything IdrA could possibly want to know. And unfortunately for him, though, it does not see any lair tech in terms of what's going to be produced out of that as a result of having that lair tech. And oh, the Overseer came in, and that you can see Sheth was going to build something, decided to build it here rather, to hide it from that Overseer. And it is indeed going to be Spire first. Infestor tech, I believe. Is an infestation put down from IdrA yet? No. So it's going to be roaches against the air at the moment, which could be horrible for IdrA unless he gets some anti-air up very, very quickly. We'll have to wait and see if he does indeed do that. He does have Evo Chambers for spores. If he sees the Spire anytime soon, he will be fine. But we'll have to wait and see if he does. Roach speed is almost done, and you'll notice the upgrades are about to be, there's one attack upgrade for IdrA, but it's about to be one attack and one armor for Sheth, and Sheth, oh, almost getting an enormous success here, gonna get a queen, but those Balings did do a great job at reducing the effectiveness of Sheth's big attack here, and yep, it is going to be an easy cleanup in the end at the cost of a queen. You're going to see, of course, Maulings pouring in, but with Roaches already here, it's not going to achieve much. Sure, a Scat's been achieved, but that's about it. Not much damage going to be dealt here. Unit stab is going to favor IdrA very, very heavily in this early game, and oh, the supply, so big. And of course, IdrA made less attacking units than Sheth there, so economy is going to be slightly in IdrA's favor. Units lost in favor of IdrA, and the army in favor of IdrA as well. The thing in favor of Sheth, though, is the muta count, and that is going to be 10 to 0. This base is not going to be denied successfully. Meanwhile, of course, we are going to see IdrA moving into the natural of Sheth, drones being pulled to deal with it, and they are dying so fast, just trying to stall for the time for the spines to get up, a queen going down too. All these drones are going to die, and IdrA taking a commanding lead. The mutas, though, are now out and can clean up. Of course, they will not end the game, though, as even if they kill off these roaches without too much more damage being taken, which looks unlikely, then after all of that, IdrA will be able to have spores up in time to deal those mutas, and the Spire gonna go down. Oh, could not be worse for Sheth at this stage in the game. The Spire gonna go down. Now he's gonna move on to what? It looks like just going to basically get that, and that'll be it for the time being. Gonna get a few more drones as well. The third base being harassed really effectively too, and the only mining left is the natural expansion at the moment for Sheth. Workers lost tab does indeed show. Oh my god, 26 workers have been killed this game, giving IdrA almost more than double the number of harvests of his opponent, and the third looks like it'll fall here. It's going to be close, but I think it will indeed fall, and it's going to fall. And that is just going to suck a little bit more for Sheth, who now has to make something happen with his mutas, or he is out of the game completely. Having to resaturate his main is going to be his main focus right now. He is going to make drones at the moment, but infestors are already on the way, spores are already up, and IdrA looking so strong at this stage. I feel like this is his game to win. You don't often see an IdrA win, basically because IdrA never releases his replayers, but this could be it. And oh, one muta going to go down here due to a little bit of lacking mutalistic control really by Sheth. And the second going to go down too, and necessarily, and the infestors are here. They are going to get not sniped. Oh, two fungals hitting every single muta here. That sucks for Sheth, splitting them up a little bit, but another fungal on this bunch of mutas, and they need to get out of there, or they need to split up a lot better, as they are in so much trouble right now. And another fungal could hit in a second, and yes, it does. Gonna kill a bunch of the mutalisks already, and the Spore helping out too with 3 kills, a Queen out at the right time as well. And even though Infestors have been killed here, the mutas have been killed in greater number and greater amounts of cost, and all that did not work out for Sheth at all, who's only killed 9 workers this game, is still at a big deficit in harvesters, is still at a big deficit in supply, is down 1 base, and has a weaker army at this stage in the game. On the units tab, we do indeed see, yep, like I said, almost no army at all for Sheth, literally nothing other than queens and units in production, being a couple of roaches, infestation pit on the way for Sheth, and we do see a couple of, yep, just drones basically. IdrA, of course, having the 20 drone lead, plus Infestor lead 6-0, plus Queen lead 2-0, and you can see the rest of it there. Okay, so IdrA, of course, is now going to be going into some military play. Not going to police a trade at this base. Possibly should start mining gas from it, though. Other than that, he is fine. There's the gas. And, yep, could probably transfer from his main and natural a little bit to help balance out that spread of drones. Important to monitor that always. But it's not the biggest deal in the world just because IdrA is so far ahead. Nonetheless, when ahead, you want to stay ahead and get more ahead as much as possible. And that would help IdrA to do that. So IdrA is going to move out here. The Sheth Overlord does indeed scout this, but what can Sheth do at this stage? I mean, look at his base. He has a tiny group of roaches which appear to be going for some sort of counterattack. Roach speed has just finished for Sheth. They appear to be trying to counter here and make something happen of some sorts, but the base of Sheth is so weak. Spine's going up to try and hold off an attack, but the Infestor count is not going to be there. 5 on the way though. And this group of roaches, could indeed be picked off here by IdrA, who is going to see them and get at least 1 roach kill. Nope. Apparently not. He is going to try and circle around to cut off these roaches though. But they are going to go back and juke the units of IdrA and go on for the counter. That could be Sheth's only hope in this game, but it's a very small hope to be holding on to. Meanwhile, of course, the third base of IdrA could easily die, but IdrA running back to deal with these units over here. It appears 1 fungal going down on half the roaches. Reinforcing units though looks for IdrA to be enough to clean this up, I'd say. Winslow running down to the third base of IdrA. Can they make anything happen? We'll have to wait and see. I doubt it though. The third of Sheth going to fall to these roaches. Meanwhile, we do indeed see infested Terrans just basically scouting out the area on the high ground for IdrA. IdrA losing an infestor to a spine crawler. A bit of a mismicro there. Meanwhile, the Lings over here were cleaned out at very little cost to IdrA. And after all of that, IdrA has held off the Sheth counters very easily, is still ahead by a base, now 2 bases, is still ahead in army, and the upgrades game at 2-1 for IdrA and 2-1 for Sheth is even. A burrow on the way for Sheth, but Sheth needs a miracle, and I guess Infestors are the miracle unit, but at the same time, IdrA has a better Infestor count, at least better energy on those Infestors, and IdrA is not moving to Hive yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did it any minute now. There it goes, actually right as I say it, funnily enough. And we do indeed see the hydrogen on the way too, so it's going to be higher DPS when those hydros get out, it's going to be higher numbers, better infestors, the upgrades are probably eventually going to take over. Yes, they will eventually in about 2 minutes or so. And then IdrA basically just needs to have a half-decent engage, or even trade evenly, or somewhat evenly, and he should be able to win from here. From Sheth's perspective, it's going to be about trying to get something big to happen with basically very cost-effective plays, and there is going to be a big attack here, but IdrA cleverly circling out here does send Havarochas down here to actually deny this 4th base of Sheth. Meanwhile, the Overlord scouts the 3rd base, and that might be denied too in a moment or two. But this group of over here are going to be, burrowed! And that's going to basically mean that they'll survive, I think. As IdrA doesn't know about this burrow, it's going to allow Sheth to regen his health. And it looks like IdrA will not get that group of roaches just yet. And they will indeed live to do some more attacking in the future. But in the meantime, the question is, will this attack be the end of Sheth? He does have a bunch of infestors in position. The spines are moving down, but they are not there yet. And this base, Sheth's not ready yet. I feel like this base has to fall. No way can he hold this. Meanwhile, though, he is going to go in for the counterattack up top, as you can see on the minimap, and it looks like Sheth is not going to lose much in terms of infestors yet. One might go down here. No! It is going to be saved, so that's not too bad for Sheth, but he does lose his third base. IdrA happy to back out doing that damage. And Sheth, though, going in, can he get this fourth base of IdrA? He probably can, although the roaches are almost certainly going to die if he does get it, as the army of IdrA is so close to Sheth here. He is indeed going to get the fourth base, I believe. He focuses, and he is kind of focusing it. Yeah, there it goes. Gonna go down, gonna go for the third base too, but that is not gonna happen. Way too many units of IdrA are here already. The Queen has energy for transfuse on the hatch if need be, but the Queen does die first. The hatch, though, is not going to die, and it looks like the supply is just going to favour IdrA by even more. These units are burrowed here, and oh, I think IdrA thinks they're dead. So that could be huge. These units could make something happen, but meanwhile, the infestors are in the main base of Sheth, and they're going to kill this lair, and oh my god. That is going to leave Sheth so stuffed, as he just had no detection at his front door, and he is suffering the consequences. IdrA also having guys in the natural to try and clear out the drones there. This infestor play reminds me of Destiny. Of course, the infestor turns now dead over in the main. The infestors, though, are at the third base after having dealt with the drones in the natural, and the total worker kill count is just so good for IdrA. Economy now 50 harvesters actually in favor of IdrA. The army a little bit more even, but even so, Sheth needs some miracle engages, and he's kind of getting it here at the front. Gonna kill a lot of roaches, it looks like, but is it gonna be enough to get him back in this game? I don't know. The roaches over here still haven't done anything yet. Meanwhile, the third's still being denied, and Sheth is actually mining out despite his lack of harvesters. And oh my god, Sheth's weak economy could just basically force him to go all in a moment here, and I think he is doing that right now, producing nothing but roaches, but his opponent is outproducing him by more than double at the moment, and the longer Sheth takes to move it out across the map, the better things get for IdrA. The third base might fall to these roaches, yes it will! Sheth's burrow play is going to work out quite nicely for him in the end, but yep, roaches are now dead. At the front door, IdrA does have a similar sized army to Sheth, but so many reinforcements should indeed seal the deal for IdrA. Reinforcements of Sheth are coming in here too, but no energy left for either player is going to favour IdrA with the higher unit and higher upgrade count, and there is the GG out of Sheth, and IdrA is going to win a game here. So I have cast IdrA a bunch lately, and finally getting a win for him. Great work by him. It was not just a build order win. It was a Lings of Sheth at the start failing win, and it was also the Muta Micro perhaps being a little bit lacking from Sheth, in that if he could have anticipated infestors, granted he was a bit unlucky with the guys popping out with energy right underneath his mutas as they were getting the hatchery, but had he been anticipating it a bit better, had he spread out his mutas, he might have survived that early game, and he might have been in a good position. Other than that, IdrA just played out a solid game, denied those bases really well, knew what he had to do, and executed it well without any glitches, and it's good to see that from IdrA, as really, to be honest, he kinda needs to have some good results, as he has been lacking in them well, for a long time now. I mean, WCS was okay, but he did lose to Vibe, a player who's not the best. So, yeah. IdrA, of course, getting the win today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do indeed like my commentary, please do remember to subscribe to my channel. Please do go to Facebook and Twitter if you want to be updated on when I do indeed post my videos. And thank you for watching today. And I'll see you all another day, I guess.